Welcome back, guys. It's next day. It's daytime. I can actually see what's going on here. As you can see, we got all this stuff. I got that all bagged up. Got connections and stuff taped up where I can. We got a motor and a transmission. Anyway, what we gotta do is we gotta start pulling all these bell housing bolts out. 18, 18, 18, 15. I'm sure there's some on the bottom. There's an 18 right there. Yeah, there's an 18 down there that's actually like loose. That's funny. That one right there, that's loose. Actually, that was me because I had to loosen that bar to get the inspection cover off when it was on the trailer. Remember that? Yeah. I'm sure there's something down there. Yep, there's one right there by the starter. Might as well just pull the starter out while we're in there. And then separate the transmission and hope when I grab that flywheel that the motor spins free. But we'll see. And then we'll get the motor on my Harbor Freight. Well, yeah, Harbor Freight Pittsburgh half-ton engine stand. And then the trans gets to go sit in a corner until I pull it apart. Depending on what everything looks like, if the motor's good, we're gonna do head gaskets, timing chain, blah blah blah. We know that that's no good, but depending on if like the case is okay, I'd like to try rebuild it. So we'll see. It depends what everything looks like.
Yeah, I can roll the motor over.
It's got plugs in it.
I know, but I can roll it over.
It's got compression.
So now we can roll it over. Now
Well,
you
what
get this-
happened here? What's missing? Something.
No, look it. I'll roll it over again.
Oh, here, let me pop the plugs out.
No, it's fine. I'm getting it to where it is.
But that doesn't look like chunks right there.
No, look at this.
Where'd that come from, though?
Then they're off of this.
We're off of the case somewhere. Oh, fucking look at the diff blew out. Yep, there's the diff pin. Yeah, holy crap, guys. Look at that. There's the diff pin. That's what happened. The diff pin blew out of it.
Well, it rolls over, so
Yeah, the motor's good. Motor's fine. That's what happened. The diff pin blew out of it. Need a new torque converter, too. I think I did this. Well, most of this. I'm sure it was spinning and then blew it and scratched it. But when I was trying to rotate the engine over, it was probably rubbing in on it like that. Wow! That's wedged in there good. Oh, that sucks. So I can't use this case. Wow. Aha! But yeah, you saw my dad. The engine's free. Oh, there, get that guy out of the way. Wow. Look at that. Yep, well, there's your problem. Wow. Let's pull these plugs out, see if we got compression. Or not compression, see how easy it spins over. Because it should roll over perfect. Come on, plugs. And why it wasn't coming out before I forgot a bolt. You know, that'll do that to you. Oh yeah. That motor spins nice. Motor spins nice.
No, I know. It's got plugs in it, like I said.
I took the plugs out.
Oh, now it spins good.
Oh yeah.
Probably a good motor. That's good though. That had it all locked up and the starter wouldn't turn it over.
No, not at all. Wow.
Well, that's why it was locked up.
Absolutely. I called it. That's all I'm gonna say. And I think I even mentioned something about the diff pin while I was tearing this apart. I don't know if that got cut or not, but diff pin blew out of the transmission. A common problem on the earlier 41TEs. Obviously, this one is probably original because it's got the old style valve body that you literally cannot see right now. And it doesn't look like it's ever been out. It's full of grease and everything. Older fluid. It let the diff pin out. Or the diff pin said goodbye, I suppose, and met the torque converter, which held the motor. Yeah, you can see a rub here, and then it like bit into it. And I'm sure some of this was me, but some of it was probably from it running. I don't know. Hard to say. But yeah, so we need a new case. You need a new torque converter. You need a new torque converter anyway, whether you're rebuilding this or not. The question is, do I pull the heads off this motor and rebuild it? Well, not rebuild it, but you know what I mean, reseal it. Or do I just do timing cover, valve cover, gaskets, thermostat, intake, fix the fuel rail, and slap it back in? I got to take the oil pan off, so I'm going to have it on the engine stand, flip it over, and I'll take the oil pan off, see what it looks like underneath, and maybe that'll decide it. And then obviously I think I'll put the starter on it and spin it over and just see what compression reads. If we got good compression on all cylinders, you know, about the same, maybe I don't do the heads, but also like, or head gaskets, but also like, you know, I'm right here. It's probably not like it was overheated or anything, you know, it was running until that happened, so it's probably running okay. So it's not like the heads need to be planed or the block needs to be decked. Just put new head gaskets in it, because these head gaskets are 25 years old. 18, 19, 20, 26 years old. We'll see. We'll see what we end up doing. For sure, we're going to get that motor on this stand so we can work on it. This guy gets to go in the scrap pile. Probably take the sensor out. Maybe the diff cover, the front cover on it. Dipstick tube. None of that other stuff, the valve body and everything's full of, and the shift cylinder, that's all full of metal. Torque converter's junk. Flywheel's probably fine, because that's on the engine, that's fine. We do get to get that off too. So. Come on. Oh, my poor screwdriver's failing me here. Handle's falling off. There we go. Come on, buddy. Off you come. Show us the carnage. Bet you that's stuck on there good. Come on. Come on, please. Oh, there's a pop. Don't care about scraping the gasket surface, huh? Oh, I hear chunks. Oh, yeah. Hello. It's funny is it doesn't even look that bad besides it blowing through the case. See if I, oh, you know what, I'm gonna hit that diff pin, see if I can pop it loose with that rubber mallet.
It probably will come up, but that tells me there's a bushing in there and it let loose. Not moving.
Yeah, there. Whoops.
It's stuck in there. That gear's stuck pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, it ground in.
Yeah.
That's why you couldn't turn it over.
Hey, is this a park right now?
I don't think that makes a difference.
Well, it might. No, I guess I don't know how that spins. Oh, it's locked on the. It's stuck on that
It's
too.
on this too, probably.
Yeah, it's stuck on it. I can see it.
It should go this way between the two gears, and this one's up here. This pin let go.
Right. Well, right. The pin.
And that fell out and it just jammed. I got it now.
Yeah, yeah. Here, let me get a magnet. Drop the pin and grenade it. Come here. See, yep. See, look at that. The pin disappeared, guys. Come here, you. And you guys are what locks into the. This is what locks into your Stevie axles on both sides. See how they're splined? And that's why the axles spun freely, because these were no longer connected to the axles. Where's the pin? I'm sure the pin like disappeared and like ground up in all that metal, but you never know. He might be in here somewhere. But yeah, there's your spider gear. What's left of him. They honestly don't look that bad. It like just blew it apart and that's it. But look at what's riding on this pin. Look at that. Look how wore that is. So it was probably loose for a while, if I had to guess. Yeah, look how ground up that is. And then it finally just decided, no thanks. Recover the diff pin. Attempt number 2. Oh! There we go. A little bit more. Oh yeah, look how wore that is. See that? That guy was having fun for a while. He was riding like this for a long time, it looks like. Wow. And then it finally just decided, no thanks. This was probably all the metal shavings we saw in the transmission pan. So it probably wasn't clutches, actually, guys. It's this diff pin. So it was grinding for a while, and then it finally dropped completely out and grenaded. Because otherwise the spider gears look fine. Like, you could rebuild it with those gears if you really wanted to. Not that I'm saying that, but I wish I had the pin. But the pin is gone. Oh, we got pieces. Bearing material, I think, right? I don't know what frees that up, actually. I don't know how that works. Yeah, if it weren't for the fact that it blew a hole in the case, you could probably rebuild that. Should you? Yeah, maybe not. But could you? Oh, hey, there's more bearing. Metal chunks. There's a good honey hole down on this side. Hoping the pin's in there. But I think the pin, like, disintegrated. Not gonna lie. Alright guys, so I got the van pushed out into the sun here from its spot right there because it is, I think it's 50 degrees now. It's January 31st. Got the pressure washer dewinterized, got some gas right there, got the hose hooked up, got everything off of the roof. Gone through, made sure everything is taped up. I've actually got 2 more things to tape up here. And we're going to pressure wash the engine bay, pressure wash the van. I think we're even going to wax it today. I can't miss this opportunity. I'm not going to lie. But here's what we got going on. Here's the before. I'll take some pictures and stuff too for a good before and after. That's going to be a fun one to clean up right there. I did hit on that subframe and bent it down a little bit, but I still think I'm going to pull it out and replace it because I'm there. But once I get it pressure washed, it'll be a little easier to do. But I pulled the battery tray off so I could get in here and pressure wash, and I didn't pull it off when we were pulling the engine because I was being lazy, and really I didn't think I'd get much clearance. But this standoff for the trans mount is removable, so that actually would have helped a lot because we had to push the trans down and under and out of there. We did get it out without pulling the battery tray or the trans mount, but that's going to make going back in a lot easier. But when we didn't pull out and we went down and under, we actually hooked one of these 2 connectors. I think it's on the harness side, which obviously has caused us to break some wires, so I need to splice those before everything goes back in. But we'll get that when we get to there, which should be soon actually. So, but I got all the whole wire harness bagged and sealed up there, got all the connections all taped off, anything important except that little pressure sensor for the AC has got to get taped, and I'm going to tape that chewed vacuum line just so we don't get any water down it, you know what I mean? Yeah, otherwise I have located a transmission that we are going to pull ourselves at U-Puller Parts. It's an early 98, so in theory it should still have the round pin range sensor plug on it. In theory, if it's an OEM transmission, this little guy right here. So he's got round pins. In early 98, like October I think, they switched to flat blades, which is actually better, provides a better connection. But just in case we do get a flat blade, there is an adapter they make, which is actually pretty hard to find now. I was able to locate some, but there's an adapter that you plug into the round pin harness that we have on our van, and it adapts to a flat blade range sensor so you can work with it. And then I think all you got to do is just make sure you get the right speed sensors and stuff. Everything else hooks up just fine. Get the right, gonna get a new valve body as long as we get the one that matches ours. I think they're the same anyway, so. But yeah, so I think we found a transmission. I don't know if it's any good or not. As long as it doesn't have a hole in the case, we can make it work. You know what I mean? But yeah, we're gonna pressure wash today, so I'll have you on the stand here while I do this. It's gonna be fun. I can't believe pressure washing in January, guys. It's something else. Oh, cat. at that. Doesn't look abandoned anymore. This is the good side as far as the paint goes. Must have been in the shade. It's also the bad side as far as the rust goes. I gotta put this trim piece back. It was so full of mud. When I started to wax it, it was vibrating and mud was falling out, so I had to take it off. And here's the bad side as far as the paint goes. See all the clear coat peel? I actually started getting into the primer here. You can see it. But this is the good side as far as rust goes. A little bit in the bottom of that door right there. You can see where it's kind of bulged. But that turned out great. I'll throw some before and afters in here, but it's pretty good for what it is. I still got to do the hood here, but I could do that inside. It's starting to cool off here. I didn't do the roof. I only pressure washed it. The roof needs a really good scrubbing. And obviously there's no clear coat left on it, but wow. Yeah, that turned out fantastic. And remember, it's January 31st. I pressure washed it, scrubbed it, buffed it, and waxed it outside in Minnesota. Look at that. Alright, we're gonna see if we can get this hatch open. Already been back here, and I popped the little access cover off. I got me a screwdriver. It acts like it's locked. That's what it feels like, or the handle's disconnected from, you know, the lock assembly. And I'm pretty sure you just do that right there, and it's open. Oh, the shocks even work. Oh, and we're dripping water out of it. Yeah, look at that. Oh, almost lost these screws for like the 4th time. Oh, look at the dirt on them shocks. Oh, here, I'm gonna put my shoes on, take it back outside. There we go. Look at that. Shock's working. That's a pleasant surprise. Climbing over everything here. Have to pull that panel off and see if like the linkage or something disconnected. Shoes on. Wow. Oh, look at how packed full of leaves that thing is. Yup, and mud. So this thing saw a lot of dirt roads and never got washed. Yeah, we're gonna have to get all that crap out of here. I'll put a mat down at this point because it's all gonna try to fall in here, and the carpet's actually in really nice shape. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's dusty. As you can see, it's been on dirt roads. Everything's dusty, but it's not in bad shape. Yeah, first time looking inside from the rear. All right, yeah, I'm gonna scoop all that stuff out. Watch this. The lock is, not the lock, but somewhere in the latch was stuck. So what I was doing is I was twisting the key lightly and then forcefully pushing this. It's stuck, so I'm gonna work it back and forth. It just froze up. All right, guys, so we're back on this 99 Caravan here at U-Pull. As you can see, we got ourselves a mess. We're trying to get this transmission out. So we've already dropped the pan and looked under there. It had some shavings, but no like chunks or metal. But we're getting ready to pull that out here. Working on the upper cowling for the wipers now. So, but here's a little check into where we're at. After we get this out, I think it's really get the intake offered and then start doing all the electrical connections, and then it's this mount, that mount, and the rear mount. Already got the bolt out of this one, and it should lift up out of here. All right, we're looking pretty good. I think we got everything disconnected besides the power steering lines down there that needs to be disconnected for us to pull this at the yard. Really, it's just this motor mount, that trans mount, and that motor mount back there. And we're working on the axles right now. Got that cotter pin out, got that one free. And then we just got the cotter pin out of that one. And so now we got to pull this guy off real quick, pop the axle in, get the strut bolts out, and then pull this out of the way. And we should be able to sneak the axle out in theory. steering reservoir. Ah. Whoops. Here, I'll show them the power steering. Forgot about that. The reservoir line, if you will. So let's delete this. That's the wrong blade to be doing that. There we go. And there is nothing else connected to it. I think we can roll this forward now. So we'll let you guys go so the cameraman can help me push the motor hoist forward. I think I forgot a key. It appears. That we were trying to push that and we're like, why is it so springy? Oh, cool. There we go. Now it looks like it's out. You gotta show them the peanuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Peanuts. Somebody made this. Look at the U-pull guys. They actually, instead of cutting it off, they unbolted it and they snapped all the nuts off. Or the bolts off the exhaust manifold. It appears anyway. Kick this apart. That's not going to go well, is it? Yeah. Why? Transmission doesn't look much nicer than mine. There we go. Oh, still not. Guess we could have laid it on a mat, couldn't we? Cameraman's or camera woman is nodding her head. Yes.
I also not the camera.
This also needs to exit the building. The C-clamp is stuck. It would be nice if it got out anyway, because I don't really want to get billed for that. There it goes. Got it. A little bit of brute force. Now we just got to get all of the transmission bolts for the bell housing out. They're all 18s, I think. And actually, there's 115 on this cooler line that we got to get out too. So we'll get him too. Okay, we'll start with the cooler line. I made that mistake last time. Okay, that should be.
Oh, Dios mío. Oh, Dios mío. Ay, Dios mío. Va a tener que tener esto escondido ahora por ahí.
see the light at the end of the tunnel. There's one back here. Sneaky guy. I forgot this one last time too. Just so you guys know, this is a 99 Caravan. So we'll have to resplice the rain sensor on this one, unfortunately. But that's what it is. Best transmission I had. Really doesn't say much. Have to.
Draining the battery.
Oh shit.
Instantly draining the battery.
Yep.
Get a default 18. That one, right? This was getting on. There we go.
Well, you have to, yeah, you can go to rallies. You can't get in there too deep.
Also, somebody got their battery cables backwards over there. That really. No remand stickers, unfortunately, guys. So, I don't know how that bodes for us. There wasn't any chunks in the pan, so. This. Oh, and I gotta get, there's more 15s. It's for the starter bolts. I bet you they'll charge me for these motor mounts, so I gotta take these off too, I suppose. I don't need them. More 18s while I'm in here. Nope. Just, not this 18 I can't actually get this one off. I can see where the trans is starting to separate. Should wiggle off there. One down here. I have to get a wrench on those for the starter. That had anti-seize on it. Right, because the starter's a reman. I saw that. Should set this up here for the next guy. What's the date on that? 121. No. I don't know what that means. But there's a part number or something there. So. I think it's free, honestly. Yep. Whoops, that was my bad. Got a dipstick. It's still bolted. I've got the dipstick from the other trans because we bent the heck out of that one just now. One more cut with the sawzall. Now it's out. Leave that in there for the time being, but we'll replace that with the other one. And there we go. I don't see any holes in this case, so I think we got a winner. Be nice to get that off. Unless we gotta lug home. Look at that.
That was a bad shot.
Well, yeah. I don't see any metal in here. Like the diff hasn't blown up. We know the diff's in one piece, so.
What are you doing?
I don't know. I don't know how transmissions work. I wanted to see if I could see it move, but it needs fluid to be in gear. But the diff pin's in here if you shoot in there. So you can get a good look down that hole. Keep going. See that, guys? The diff pin's in there still. We're going to take that cover off when we get it home and just to look at it, make sure it's not wore or anything, but it's there.
Start at $25. Licensed providers, medications with free shipping. Get your smile back. Doesn't my savings go?
Alright guys, so we got the new transmission that has about 173,000 miles. I got it outside here on the stand, and we are going to pressure wash this thing, clean it up a little bit. I got the new trans pan on there, sealed up, so that's cool. I got a new valve body I got to put, or not valve body, shift solenoid that I got to put on it. Gonna get new sensors. I got this here so we don't get water in there. This plug's on there and taped off so it doesn't get wet. I taped off all the electrical stuff. Taped off the axle holes so we don't get water in there. Torque converter's in there. I think I got to take that out to put... I'm going to put a new torque converter seal in it because I got it apart, you know. New Timken one, so that should be a good seal. Got this on here so we don't get water down there. And I'm going to spray it down with some, I think like super clean or something. Let it sit for a minute and then we're going to pressure wash it off and see how we're doing. But yeah, I got to take these covers off. I think I'm going to put a fresh coat of like black engine paint so it kind of matches this glossy filter here. And then I got to put gaskets on them anyway. They're just on here to keep water out while I pressure wash it quick. So as soon as we get it cleaned up here, we'll take it inside, put all the new parts on it. Then it's ready to go, get it off the stand, put that on the stand after we get the torque converter out. Finally got the seal to start coming. This one was a pain. I probably shouldn't have touched it. But I got a vice grip here holding that, and then I'm hammering down so it pulls outward right now. And I think we're gonna win. Got it. god. Oh no, I guess I got one out earlier. Like I suspected, I figured that this was a remand. So the transmission had been out at some point. Here's a sticker here that was painted over. This thing got rattle can blue. See, it was a different color blue originally, but that transmission had been the original, I should say original to me. Had definitely been off and had work done to it at some point. Noticed by the rattle can paint. So interesting. Well, this torque converter is $5 core. If it ends up going back next time I'm at the yard. Anyway, yes, we're gonna leave the flywheel on for now because we want to put the starter back on it so we can spin it over and check compression. So I'll have to tighten all the plugs back down, ones that are in it. I've got new plugs for it and everything. I got actually a lot of parts here. Make sure we pull these napkins out so I don't suck them down the intake. That wouldn't be fun, but the intake's coming off anyway. So yeah, and then we're gonna get it on the motor stand and bring it inside, and I'm gonna start working on replacing a bunch of stuff in it. I don't know how much I'm gonna show you guys. I kind of don't have a good spot to record while I'm inside, so I kind of take a lot of photos and whatnot. Same thing happened with the transmission, but we'll see what I capture. I'll definitely get update photos and stuff, but I don't think we're gonna do this water pump because it's literally brand new. So we're gonna, for once, not have to do a water pump. But I guess we'll have to pull the cover off anyway. So the cover will be off, but we'll leave it adhered to the timing cover. I think I gotta pull the pulley off to get at some of these bolts. But yeah, we gotta get this crank pulley off of here. What's left of it. Get timing cover off, get this old oil pan out of here. Looks like I nicked that bolt when I was prying in here. See all this pry marks and crap? So when were you guys going to tell me that the starter is bolted to the transmission housing, therefore I can't check compression without the transmission? You guys like gambling? Because I sure do. Whoops. Alright, well, we got the motor on the stand here. Working on getting everything cleaned up inside. It's supposed to rain, so I want to make sure this is inside. That's mostly why we got it up here right now. But bolted up. I'm going to have to get my motor stand inside the garage at some point because I'm going to have to take it off the stand to be able to do this rear main. I'll have to set it down, but we'll cross that road when we get to it. But yeah, no, it's looking pretty good. It's on here secure. Should fit through the door we need to take it through. But we'll get it inside and we'll start replacing things. Yeah. Alright, but no. Sweet. Here's a good one, and here's a bad one as far as side-to-side clearance goes. The bearings themselves look fine, and there's no up and down play in them. The crank looks fine on both of them. This one is in spec as far as side-to-side clearance goes. This one is technically just barely out of spec. I think the spec is like 0.33 millimeter is the max allowed. And these come in at like 0.33 and a half, 0.34. So, and there's 4 others that technically are out of clearance, and then the 2 on the towards the rear of the motor, those 2 are within spec as far as side-to-side play goes, but you can't fix that with a set of bearings. I think I'm gonna run it, so we'll bolt these back up, torque these down, call it a day.
Why don't we do something crazy right now?
I'm actually in spec. I don't know, I was looking online initially, but I pulled out the Chilton book. The Chilton book says 0.38 millimeters is the max side-to-side rod clearance. And we're within 0.38. We're like 0.35 on the worst one. So we're in spec. I'm going to apply some oil to those bearings I took out. I'm going to torque them back down. And then we'll check the torque on the rest of them. And then I think we're going to call it good, actually. Good, that's good news. So we're not, I mean, it's a little high, but we're not too bad. We're within spec. So, and I think the best one was about, what was the best one? Here, let me look on the feeler gauge here. I know the imperial size it was. It was like 0.08 or 008, which I guess we could look right here. Yeah, 0.008's within min spec too, so we're good. Crank looks okay. There's nothing I can catch with a fingernail anyway, so yeah, we're gonna bolt these back down and call it a day. That one's real good. That one's not too bad. That one's pretty bad, but I think it's in spec. Rear main seal's on. Had to use that little plastic helper, so I gotta pull him out now, but it's on there. You guys remember that guy that was pulling on this crank pulley with a pry bar? Well, I think he bent the tip of the crank. As you can see, there's grooves are in it too. We noticed that when we pulled it apart, but That was probably, I probably spun that crank pulley on here and it kind of grooved on. That's not such a big deal, but I think this tip is bent just a little bit. If we, here, I'll show you guys what I'm looking at here. But I was thinking maybe that brand new harmonic I got was bent, but I think it's not that. If we can't really see it this way. Yeah, you can a little bit. This is straight here and this is flush, but it's tweaked right here and it kind of wobbles just a little bit. It's funny, you can't really see it as well, but I can see it. So, I don't know what I'm going to do here. I got to do some real thinking here. Okay, so I kind of had like a straight edge on here. I was spinning it, and this appears to be the high point. And it's not bent here, it's bent starting like here. So what I think we're going to try do, I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? I got to take it apart anyway. Is get like a socket that fits here, wrap this in a cloth so you don't scuff it any worse, and then put an extension on here and kind of crank on it and bend it and keep checking it. It's going to be a little bit of a process, but I'll see if we can straighten that back out. I mean, worst case scenario, I got to take this all off anyway and put a crank on it. So this ain't going to hurt for sure. I know people have done this with lawnmower engines where you hit like a rock and you could bend the cranks back. But we know ours isn't bent internally, so as long as we're careful here, I think we can straighten that. I'm going to try anyway. Get it close. Yeah. Alright guys, time to put that motor in real quick. It's a beautiful day out today. No, we got like 5 inches of snow last night. It was 40 something degrees and sunny yesterday. I got green bean running. Got the brush here. Got the shovel. I got to shovel out the driveway, but yeah. What a change. It came down, and this is just what stuck. The first little bit didn't stick, it melted. But it just dumped on us. Oh boy. Okay, so we decided after putting all the accessories on here and running the belt, I think we're just going to run that and hope it doesn't shake the motor too bad, or if the dampener takes out that shake, hopefully. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. We're just going to ignore it for now. I pretend I didn't see that. Otherwise, right now, what we got going on is we got to pull the old power steering pump pulley off to put on our new pump. And what I've got is a chicken leg puller with a hose clamp to hold it in place so it doesn't slip. So hopefully that will let us pull that pulley off. But we'll see how that goes. As you can see, that didn't work. We destroyed the existing pulley, so went and got a new pulley, and I got a proper pulley remover and installer kit from O'Reilly. So, all right, there we go. Got it pressed on. This is the kit and part I used. As you can see, these first couple threads were stripped. That was before I got it, but they're pushed in so it didn't cause an issue with my threads in here. You don't want to get a really bad one because you ruin your threads. Anyway, screwed that in as far as it'd go, and then this is a 9/16, and this is like a 17 mil is what I got to fit on that, and just held it to the floor, and just you had the wrench on the 9/16 pushed in, and then I just kind of wrenched on it till it kept going. A little bit of LPS here to help her on, and she's on there. Now, the aftermarket pulleys on these are a little bit bigger, but with our aftermarket kit, they give us another one of these pulleys to, I think, to replace and make up for it. But we're going to fit that on there, and we're going to see if the tensioner will take up the little bit we need. Otherwise, they gave us another one of these pulleys to maybe like swap this one or something. I don't quite know. I got to read the directions. They had a service bulletin on it. So we're going to bolt the new pump up just to see how everything fits. And I think we'll be fine. It's like a 1/2 inch longer belt is required if you use this pulley with an OEM setup, but ours is obviously not OEM anymore. So I'm gonna bolt that in, put the 3 bolts here, and just put the serpentine belt back on, and I'll let you know. Alright, so I did get it installed, but because of this bigger belt, or bigger pulley, the tensioner is maxed out, so we have to install this smaller pulley they provided in the idler spot to make up for the bigger pulley here. So I'm going to drop the belt off. And what I did to get the belt on, because it was so tight, I got it wrapped around the whole system. I had the top bolt of the alternator out, and I was able to pull the alternator forward to pull it down. But we are going to undo that by doing this and then putting this pulley on. Once again, I have been had. As you can see here in the service bulletin, it says it comes with a 76mm pulley, which is the OE size, and then it's supposed to come with a 3808/70. They gave me 2 of these 3809s, so now I have to go track down a 3808 to fit this aftermarket belt with this aftermarket pulley on this aftermarket system. Well, mystery solved. They did in fact send me 2 38009 pulleys instead of a 38009 and a 38008. Here's the Napa variety. This one doesn't have that extra lip that they provided, which was part of the goal here, is that's supposed to keep the belt from slipping off. Not that I've ever had one slip, but it's a problem that happens. But it's still the ribbed pulley, and it will fit, and it's smaller, and it should work with that aftermarket power steering pulley that we put on. Alright, well, we got the lower intake back on here. Got it all cleaned up, bolted down. I just got the thermostat off, and look at the corrosion in here. So we gotta pop this guy off and replace him while we're in here. But yeah, lower intake's on. I used some RTV where the water jackets are in each corner of the intake. One of the inlets had some corrosion on the intake side, so that should seal it up real good. Otherwise, yeah, we'll get thermostat housing on. Valve cover surfaces are ready. I'm ready for gaskets there. I gotta put those on real quick. But I gotta finish cleaning up the valve covers. They are, as you can see right here, soaking in some super clean on my mat, along with all the mounts and stuff. So, yeah. Alright guys, so we're in the 97 Green Bean today. We're picking up, that's an exhaust manifold, a rear manifold for Eggplant, the 97 Grand Caravan. And so I was putting the motor together, right? You know, I'm getting that exhaust manifold on this morning. And this is literally the last piece I'm bolting up to that motor before we can get it, you know, the transmission mated to it. And then back out on the stand and into the van. And I got the rear manifold sitting on the two studs as I'm starting to bolt it in. And here I'm looking at 2 giant cracks. And it's like, you gotta be kidding me. But luckily, I did some looking around here, and I think it was Key Auto Parts in Lake Crystal. Same place I got the windshield for the blue van, the 90 Caravan. They just happened to have one sitting on the shelf, so I called them up, and sure enough, they had it still. So I picked that bad boy up for, I think, like 22 bucks. So the day has been saved. We'll get the manifolds on today. That one, it's not in too bad a shape. It looks pretty good to me, if you ask me. So we're doing pretty good. We're on our way back home now. So, but Green Bean's running good. 240,692 miles. But yeah, get that manifold home. Get that on. That one doesn't have any cracks in it, so no problems there. And I'll bring you guys back. You know, when I got everything bolted up, probably the next time I'll bring it back is when I have the engine rolled outside ready to put on the hoist to make the trans to it. But I'll probably put some pictures in between. So here's the old manifold. You see the cracks here? Now, if you look here with this oil we sprayed in here, you look in here. Here, if I can get you. See the wetness right there? That's the oil seeping through on that old manifold. Well, I was working on a new manifold, and I was spraying and heating this bolt up here to get this bolt out for the exhaust shield. And look what appeared here that we could not see without the oil. And then if we look in here, you can see the wetness. So my new manifold is cracked. Be it not as bad, but it's definitely got a crack in it that I think both me and the other guy missed. I don't think he saw that either. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't see it. But this one's not as bad. And what we're gonna do here, because nobody around me's got manifolds. I did have a warranty on this. I had a 90-day warranty. I could return this, but for the 20 bucks I paid, it's not worth the trip down and back to return this and cause a fuss over it. What I'm gonna do here, since this one's not nearly as bad, I'm gonna grind this out, clean it up really good, kind of cut into that crack and divot, and they make a high temp, like 2400 degree JB weld, and we're just gonna fill that, and then we'll let it cure, and we'll just see what happens. I guess that's just how we're gonna do it. Yeah, this one's not that bad. Honestly, it's probably right. If it was the front manifold, I probably wouldn't even worry about it because I can get at it later. It's the fact that it's the back manifold and there's so much crap hooked up to it and it's hard to get at that makes it a pain. But I think we're going to try the high temp JB weld and we'll just see what we can do. It's better than that one, definitely. It's definitely, see, this one's cracked all the way up here and it's cracked all the way down here. This one's just a little bit right there. And it's funny is it's just about in the same spot as this crack started. That's annoying. Well, what do you do, guys? What do you do? I'm gonna get this bolt out here real quick or work on it, and then we will go get some JB weld and then grind this out and put it on, and I'll just show you what it looks like when I'm done. But dang it, I got again. Well, there you go. There it is. I got it all grinded down. Stops about right there, goes up and stops right about there. Alright guys, so we're looking at doing these power steering lines real quick. Honestly, nothing looks wrong with them. They don't look like they were leaking now that I'm looking at it close. But I guess I had to cut the... I remember, I think, if I don't know, I remember having trouble getting this return line off, so I ended up having to cut it, which sucks. But I think I'll keep that high pressure line. I don't see anything wrong with it, to be honest. It doesn't look like they're leaking, but we'll pull them off, replace them while we're in here, mostly because look how easy it is to get a wrench on those now. You know, usually you got to fight from down below, and you can't get a wrench on them without stripping them, and then you got to cut them and get a socket on there. And right now I can just get at them. And then while we're in there, we're going to pull this vacuum line here that was eaten up off of the, I think it's one of the evap pumps down there. We'll pull that out while we're in here, retape a new one in there because you can get at it. So we'll get those done real quick. But look at this brake line. It's freaking perfect. Look at all these lines. A little bit of rust on the fitting there, but that's about normal. Come in there and spray that with some fluid film or something. But these lines going up here, these are known to rust out on these clips and everything. And there isn't a speck of rust on them at all. No rust on any of those brake lines. Should come in here and really spray those with fluid film and everything, but they'll never see road salt, which is cool as long as I own the van. But yeah, they're freaking perfect. It's an 18 mil, and I was able to crack them loose, no problem, from right here. So I could spin them both off by hand. Yeah, this is not the usual way to get at this, but this is great. Let me tell you, working on something with space, especially when I don't have a lift or anything to stand underneath it here. I just sit here on the lower rad support here and just go to town. I was so certain when I said that clamp was a 10, and it's for sure a 13. Dang it, guys. Whatever. It's 10 or a 13. It's always one of those. Or a 15 sometimes. Where is it? There it is. I found it. Whatever. Yeah, it's a 13, guys. Anyway, it's coming off. This is one way to do it. Look at that. You can't see nothing, but I got it. You can hear it. Alright, so I got the harness out, got it up off the ground here. I got this all pulled apart. This is the harness that we damaged right here. And what we got going on is these wires are all fine. This green one's kind of messed up here. That one is just going to take a splice right there. But these other 3 got damaged pretty badly right where it goes into the plug. So you almost got to either do them all with that new plug or try repin these 4. I'd rather not, like, you know, have to splice every wire. It's just more fail points. What I might do is try pop this plug apart and see how easy it is to repin those, because, you know, this plug is, at the very worst, we're cutting the whole plug out anyway. But we'll see if I can repin those, because that would, you know, make me feel better having to just only do 4 wires instead of what, 9? Yeah, 9, because we have one. There's a pin that's not, you know, there's no plug. So I'm gonna see about that. Otherwise, what I'm gonna do is we're gonna do those, you know, quick solder, melty, what do you want to call them, connects things. So it's soldered, but also like not like with a solder iron, because, you know, that's a lot of effort. And then after that's done, we'll do the temp sensor harness, and then we have to start thinking about this trans plug, because we have a newer trans that has not the pins, but the flat blades. So we will be able to repin it here, which is a good thing because I have to. As you can see, I've got these 2 connectors I got off of whatever donor vehicle I pulled, and this is our connector that is damaged. They're the same, except they're slotted here, so you don't plug it into the wrong spot. Well, it turns out the van I pulled this off is different than this van, and it's slotted differently. And so none of these plugs would fit anyway, so we have to repin it. But the way you got to do this is, so you want to pull this little piece out, which you can get with, I've got some little hooks and stuff, and I got a flathead. I used a flathead to pull this pin off, and then you got to use one of the hooks to pull the rubber seal out on that side. And then inside here, you see this little red guy? I was able to get in there with a hook, and I pulled right here on both sides, and that let these clips go. But I think if you go in from this side, you might be able to pop it too. And once you get that out, you see this right here. And then right below each pin on the inside here, if you look, see that little, here. See that little white tab right there, right on the end of my fingernail? You got to pull him out like this way, and once he's out, then you can drop the pin out. And so we're going to drop some good pins off one of these connectors. I'm going to try find matching colors for that, because none of these colors are in the same order because they're the wrong plugs, I guess. Anyway, we'll try find some that match, and as long as I put the wire where it's supposed to be, it won't matter. And then we'll just replace those 4 pins, and then we'll only have 4 solder joints instead of 9, you know. And obviously we've got the plug that works. Otherwise I'd have to like notch these out, and like, yeah, I don't want to have to do that. So, and bam, it's like we were never here. Got all new pins in. Still gotta splice them here, but I got them all wired in to our new connector. So that's the hard part done. Figure I'll show you the first one. They say don't use a lighter, but used a lighter. Got them stripped. Twisted, you slide this, so what you do is you cut them, you know, get your one side, slide this over, and then you strip them both back, twist them together, and then you slide it into the center of the connector, and then you're supposed to heat it with a heat gun, but we used a lighter like they said not to, and it worked all right. So what we'll do is we'll put a little bit of E-tape over that, do another one, put a little E-tape over that, do another one, put a little E-tape over that, do the last one, put a little E-tape, and then we'll friction tape over the entire harness. And I'm going to try a little bit to stagger them, but these aren't that thick, so they aren't going to take up much like a crimp joint would. Crimp joints are a lot thicker, but these shrink down. Just make sure you shrink your seals here too, but that should work. Well, there we go, got all 4 done. So that's this harness repaired. There, got this guy spliced on and repaired because it was eaten off right there. Pulled all the tape back, soldered it, and respliced it. Okay, that's all done. That one's all done. I got to self-tapper him in, but that's done. You just got the trans plug to tackle, I think. I'm going to look over this harness real good, but I think we're done with the wire splicing besides the trans harness. So we're done with all the damage. Now we're just doing the upgrades, if you will. Okay, so I'm getting ready to swap these trans harness plugs. And as you can see, we got the new connector here with the called blade connectors, and then we got the old one with the pins. And I was looking, and the wire colors all look the same, so we just wanted to verify that they all go in the same spot, and they in fact do. So it's a direct match here, 1-to-1. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave all of this slack on both sides. So I'm going to cut these off close to this pigtail, and then I'm going to leave a bunch of slack on this. In the event we ever have to come in here, do this ever again, we've got more wire to work with. Now what's cool about this is if, let's say now we've got this new blade connector spliced on here to match the new trans. Let's say that transmission goes bad. We shouldn't have to splice back to the old connector because they make a harness that goes from the new blade plug here back to this range sensor with the pins. And they did that, I believe, because starting in, was it early 99, which, well, the early 99 model year, which would have been late 98, they had the new harness with the blades, but they were still using the old range sensors. So to account for that on the assembly line, I think they just made a little adapter piece. So you can get those in places. And if you shop online from, there's a part number somewhere on one of the Chrysler forums. But we don't need to talk about that today because we're plugging the blade plug into a blade trans range sensor. So, but yeah, in my case, it's a 1-to-1 match here. But that may not be the case for you. In the event that your wire colors are different, the match is the same on the pins though. So like, let's say where this white one was a blue one, you'd splice this white one to the blue one here on the corner. It's a 1-to-1 match here, but I just so happen to have the colors are the same for me, so I don't have to worry about doing them one at a time. I can just nip this whole harness out of the way and then just start going to town, which is what I'm going to do. Alright, still got to put tape over it, the whole harness here, and get it back together, but we got this entire thing spliced, and I added some friction tape here just in case, let's say, a little strand of copper got poked through the plastic. I don't think so, but you never know. Anyway, we'll tape that harness back together, and the lengths are all about the same, so we're not going to have any jumbled bits. Just a longer harness, which is always good. That, guys and gals, concludes all of the extra work that I need to do under the hood before the engine goes in. Oh, and I probably didn't show you, but I did get this hose all done. Pulled that whole thing out and rewrapped everything, got it in there, so that's all hooked up. But yeah, we're ready. I've got a battery here. I don't know if it's live or not. Gonna find out. Probably prime the fuel system.